Hello! In this video, I'm going to be going through some tips and tricks that I found through playing Palworld since the 1.0 update. One thing I'm going to start off with is one that's going to be very useful, especially in the early game, is being able to stack your plantations. How you're going to be able to do that is you're going to have to get the wooden bench, which you can get pretty early in the game from the I believe it's the wooden living room furniture set at level 5 for only, I believe, one singular technology point. What you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to take a wooden bench. You're going to line it up to the middle of where you want to stack your plantation. So I'll do it here. And then you or one of your pals build it, and then you stack it up however tall you want. For this instance, I'm going to stack it up 4 benches tall to match the other ones. So now that we have it stacked 4 tall, you're going to want to go and take your plantation. So I'm going to start with wheat because I have the most seeds for it. Then you're going to want to jump or maybe walk back a bit, I think. Yeah. Hop up and place. Then you're going to build that first one. And once that's done, you go underneath and you break the next one down. This can work with multiple different plantations. I just prefer to have it stacks of the same one for mass amount of resources. But then you're going to want to jump and wait until it turns blue. And then you want to hit place while you're mid jump. Then you're going to want to do the same thing again. Go underneath, break the wooden bench, grab the plantation. You may need to move around to get different angles. So you're going to want to jump, place, then break, or place. And then for some of them, you're going to want to have to crouch and then go at a very specific angle to break it. And then place. For some of these, you may have to place out these little temporary floor or roofs as little platforms to step on. Then break one, take out a stair, hold whatever button says alignment mode. I guess that one's not working for some reason, but I'll use this one I had over here. Then you're gonna look under and break that wooden bench down below. Then you're gonna go to food again and place the final plantation. What this is gonna do is gonna limit the amount of movement your pals have to do to plant, water, and gather your resources. And then now you can just break it all. And yep, that's gonna be the first tip. The next one is going to be a very useful thing, and it is going to be the drafting table. I don't have enough schematics to demonstrate, but basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find, hold on a moment. You are going to want to find, let's go with the sword schematic. You're going to find a schematic you have a lot of, and for some reason it's not showing up in the search. But basically what it is you take 5 of the ancient helm schematic, you whatever schematic you have. For this is I clicked on the ancient helm, but 5 of any schematic, and you can upgrade it. You can upgrade it from a normal schematic 1 to schematic 2. Then you take 5 schematic 2s to schematic 3, and then 4. Honestly, it's really useful to use all of those spare schematics you get throughout the game to actually put them to good use. Another thing I will suggest is if you're going to be catching a lot of pals, you are going to want to craft. On this one, it's in the sphere one. You're going to want to craft the homing module. This is going to be very end game because it costs Sorelight Ingots, AI Core, Ancient Civilization Core, and also you unlock it at level 69. I would suggest the homing mode for like endgame, but there's also ones like the heavy module, curve, sniper module 2, slider module, sniper module. So if I just go through and type in module, you'll see here heavyweight, curve, sniper, slider, sniper 2, and homing. These all are very useful for catching power. As you can see here, I currently have the sniper module 2, which ups the range, but also the capture strength. Another thing I would suggest is to have a catchers on your team because it has a 15% chance to prevent Palsphere's consumption, or prevent Palsphere consumption when thrown, which once you start up catchers more and more and more, that'll higher and higher the chances. Another few pals I would suggest is Tarantrus for a mount. If you have the passive ability Sky Marcher, it doubles the jump count. And with her grapple, it can be very useful to just zoom around the map. So if I were to do this and then bounce, you could just triple jump. But what I was trying to demonstrate is when you bounce off of something, you can get so much movement and momentum. It's honestly one of the best land mounts in the game, even though it's not very fast. It makes up for that in its ability to just bounce backwards and get a lot of space covered at once. One other mount I would recommend for mid to late game is Celine, because she has quite a lot more stamina than the other pals for flying mounts, and also she has a decent bit of speed. So that's always a good thing. Another tip is you don't have to physically keep the appearance of any armor you're using. So, for example, right now I'm wearing a Hexalite armor and lightweight Hexalite armor. So I should be looking like this. But thanks to something that was recently added called I think it's called the antique dresser. You can go into edit character outfit, then you can click on this, and then you can pick whether it be metal armor, lightweight hexalite armor, starting equipment, light willpower, steel armor, which is the one I currently use. Then you can also pick the different hats, and basically, oh, and also gliders. Once you hit OK, no matter what you're using, it'll always look like you're wearing that armor, even when you're wearing nothing. So you could go into a fight if you're on a PvP server looking absolutely kitted out, but you actually have nothing equipped. Also, if you accessories, I would heavily suggest one of these being the Paltamer's glasses. You can get the schematic for it at a tower that is between Ice Weasel Hill and No Man's Trail. So let's just head over there now. Alrighty. So you're gonna want to teleport here and look around along this coast. So somewhere along here, you will find. Don't quite recall the last. Here it is. What you're gonna want to find is this tower up here. Basically, you go in here, and I already have it, so I can't get it again. But you will get the thing, the schematic for the Paltamer's glasses. It shows PAL potentials, which is like the attack, the defense, and the health stat, and also acts as the mercy ring. So it just completely combines two of the ancient technology devices, one of those being the mercy ring, and the other being the ability glasses. So it is definitely a good find, and it is something you would want to get. So I would suggest if you have a flying mount, try to fly over to this little area to try and get it. Another tip is the moment you have it unlocked, stop using keys and always use lockpicks. You get the first lockpick at level 16, which helps you lockpick copper chests. Then at level 25, you get the lockpicking tool for silver chests. And then at 53, you get it for gold. What it does is when you walk up to a chest, you have the option of using a gold key, which, as you can see right now, I don't have, or you can lockpick. It's honestly a little easy mini game. You just have to move the pick a little bit each time and then press the turn button and see how much give it gives. And then that kind of gives you a hint of what direction it's going to be in. So you could just fiddle with it, see where it goes, and try to find where you have to put the pick in order to turn the lock. And look, I just got a katana schematic that I'd be able to use at the drafting table. Another tip I would give that I actually need to use myself is once you have it unlocked, you should be using the cryogenic crusher. It basically works like the normal crusher, but it also allows you to convert pal spheres back into palladium fragments, which means you could turn palladium fragments into normal pal spheres, and then from pal spheres back into palladium fragments in order to make a little experience farm. So I'm going to teleport back to my base and display just that. Alrighty. Let's just production. Okay, I have enough. Perfect. This is going to be a bit later in the game, but it is definitely worth replacing your normal crushers with. So it is cryogenic crusher. It requires 50 refined ore, or refined ingots, 30 pal steel, apologies, 30 pal steel, 25 cryogenic coolant, and 20 uh, toxic coolant, I think it's called, or something along those lines. Takes about not too long to craft. And basically, what you can do, you go in here, and as you can see, I can turn an ancient sphere into 30 palladium, which I will not do, but also gigaspheres into normal palladium. And unlike the normal crushers, it does not require a water pal. So let me just grab fresh stallion. If I can, no, I can't grab him. Let me just grab my handy dandy foxicle here. And then throw it to work. And then it'll just sit by the cryogenic crusher. And look, it automatically did it because my foxicle has a high level of ice. But what you can do is you could turn all your excess spheres into palladium fragments and then head over to the little whatever you use to craft. And then you craft them again. Then you head back over to the cryogenic crusher. And where is it? Then you turn it right back. Okay. It's nighttime, so it won't work. But you get the principle. Another thing I would heavily suggest is to make sure that you have pals in the ranch at all times. Stuff like Chickpea for eggs, Bee Guard for honey, Vixie for, I believe Vixie is leather? I don't have it here. But yeah, if you look at the Pulpedia, Vixie here drops the leather, and let me see. What is it? Huh. Anyways, it drops leather in the range, and its partner skill makes it that it can dig up stuff in the range. Oh, no, I was mistaken. Those are drops from it dying. It just digs up stuff in the range. Creamus and Lamball drop wool. Then, actually, I just had it. Then, I scroll down here. If I can find it again. Here we go. Sibelex drops high quality or high quality cloth. Then we have, where is it? Then we have Dig Mud and Dig Mud Guild that drop high quality pal oil, but specifically Dig Mud Guild also drops coins. So I would suggest having one of those in your ranch. Another thing is, since you're going to be needing to do a lot of farming to make food, I would heavily suggest when it comes to your food of choice for pals, you run salads. Because as you can see here, they only cost 2 tomatoes and 2 lettuce, and you can make them in absolute bulk. As you can see here, my 2 playhouse are working very hard to make food. Then you head back over to your cool food box, and boom. Another thing, always check out meteors and supply drops because they are so useful. Because the meteor fragments are used to craft stuff like palladium fragments or the saddle for Selene. And with stuff like the supply drops, you can get stuff like books and elixirs that'll heavily help your gameplay. So take all these meteor fragments, and as I said, they are used for the saddle of Selene, and also they're used to make palladium fragments. Where you place your base in this game also has a huge impact on what resources you gain. Early game, I would suggest you stay in the main-ish area because that'll help you get a lot of wood and stone and things like that. Once you start needing things like crude oil, I would suggest going to, I believe it's this island up here. This island up here has a bunch of oil nodes, and you're able to place 2 oil extractors on the same oil node if you have it placed right. Also, you always want to be doing expeditions. Some of them give you such valuable materials like ancient civilization cores, PAL manuscripts, chromite, and crude oil. And it is so easy to just click on the one you have at your current level, click auto assign, and once it loads, off they go. Another thing, you need to breed even the pals that you have at your base. I'll show you why now. This place out here, as you can see, it has 5 kindling and 3 logging. But if you look at this tier 5 one I have, 8 kindling and 5 logging, which means instead of spending 5 kindling books to max it out in kindling, you would only need to spend 2. So I'd heavily suggest sorting through, see what pals you want best for your base, for the kindling or whatever you need, and then you'd want to breed that and then condense it in the PAL condensation menu. So let's look at PAL condense. let's just go PAL. And you get the PAL Essence Condenser at level 14. So how it works is you grab your PAL, if I recall which one I started to start up. Okay. You would want to try to pick a PAL that has good traits as well. Like this one here has Sirius. And then you go through, pick all the PALs you have of that type, and then condense it. And now look, already up at 7 out of 10 and 4 out of 10 for kindling and logging. Another thing is you can get passive skills that you can put into your pals on the surgery table. You can get these from doing the arena, which is, if I recall, goodness, I don't remember, somewhere around the desert. But they are so heavily useful because it could save you time with breeding pals or for taking a bad passive off of a pal. So yeah, that concludes my different tips and tricks for Palworld as of the 1.0 update. I will be linking below a website with an interactive 1.0 map where you can mark down all of the caverns or bosses you've completed and stuff like that. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!